You know what often separates a really good engineer from a great engineering leader? It's all about how they communicate. So today, we're going to cover 5 small, easy grammar fixes that will help you sound way more confident and professional. These are designed to help you nail those tech leadership roles.
Okay, picture this. You're in that big interview for a QA team lead role. You know your stuff, right? You've got the skills, the experience, but you have this nagging feeling that the way you're speaking just isn't quite matching up with your expertise. It's a really common feeling, and don't worry, we are going to fix that right now.
So, we're going to break down 5 very specific grammar points that are going to give your professional credibility an instant boost. And listen, these are not complicated, boring rules. Nope. These are powerful, simple techniques you can start using literally the second this is over.
All right, first up is something you are guaranteed to talk about in any interview: your job title. It seems so simple, right? But getting those little words, an, and the correct is one of the clearest signals that your English is polished and ready for the workplace.
Just listen to the difference here. First, the rough version. I work as QA engineer and reported to head of department. It sounds a little bit clipped, doesn't it? A bit abrupt. Now listen to the polished version. I work as a QA engineer and reported to the head of the department. See? It just flows so much better. It sounds complete and way more professional.
So here are the rules, and they're pretty straightforward. You use a or an when you're just describing a general role, but you use the when you're talking about the one specific person in that role, like the CEO or the head of your department. And the one exception? When you use a title like a name tag right before a name, like CEO Anna Rivera, you just drop the article completely. Nailing this little detail shows you pay attention, and that's a huge quality in any leader.
Okay, for our second polish point, let's talk about connecting your ideas. Think of words like who, whose, and where as the glue that lets you stick simple sentences together to build more complex and impressive ones. This is a huge skill for leaders.
This slide is a perfect example of what I mean. You could say 2 separate things. I managed a team. The team size was 15 people. It's okay, but it's a little choppy. Or you can glue them together elegantly. I managed a team whose size was 15 people. Instantly, you sound more sophisticated, like you can handle complex information and explain it efficiently.
So here's your basic toolkit. You've got who for people, whose for things that belong to them, and where. And this is a cool trick. Where isn't just for places, it's for situations, like a point in the project where we had to change course. Using these correctly lets you pack so much more detail into your answers, which is exactly what you want in an interview.
Moving on to polish number 3. This one's all about sounding certain. It's about how you communicate what needs to be done. Using words like must, have to, and should are your secret weapons for sounding precise and authoritative, especially when you're talking about plans and rules. Let's break this down, because the small differences here are everything. Must is for strong official rules. Should is for giving advice, but here's the real pro tip for an interview. Know the difference between have to for right now and will have to for the future. If someone asks what you'd do in 6 months, saying we will have to hire more people shows that you're thinking strategically about the future. It's a very powerful distinction.
All right, time for a lightning round of quick wins. We're going to look at 4 super common pairs of verbs that are really easy to mix up, but also really easy to fix. Getting these right makes you sound clearer instantly.
First up, find and found. As a QA pro, you find bugs. The past tense is found. Just remember, to found means to, establish a company. So unless you're starting a company for bugs, you just found it.
Next, rise versus raise. Simple trick here. You raise something. It always needs an object. You raise your hand, you raise a concern, you raise the priority of a ticket. Rise is what something does on its own. The sun rises, prices rise.
This one's a classic. Just think about the direction of the action. To lend is to give. To borrow is to take. So if you need a test device from a colleague, you're asking them to lend it to you. And finally, the one that trips up everyone, lie and lay. But honestly, the rule is just like with rise and raise. Lay needs an object. You lay your phone on the table. If there's no object and you're just describing where something is located, the word is lie. So the problem lies in the architecture.
Okay, we're at our fifth and final point of polish, and this one is so important when you need to describe the scale of your achievements. We're talking about how to talk about big numbers, like users, data, or bugs, and sound totally credible doing it.
So let's say you're talking about a platform that handled this many records, 2 million. How do you actually say that in a sentence? Because believe me, there's a really common trap that a lot of people fall into.
Here it is. The common mistake is to say 2 million records. The polished, correct way is to keep it singular. Our platform handled 2 million records. That's it. The rule is simple. When you have a specific number right before 100, 1,000, or million, you never, ever add an S.
So let's just nail this down. Rule 1, if the number is specific, the word stays singular. 500 users, 10,000 lines of code. Rule 2, if you're being vague, then you make it plural, and you add the word of. Hundreds of bugs, thousands of users. Getting this right makes you sound so much more concrete and impressive.
And that really gets to the heart of all this, right? Look, none of these 5 things by itself is going to be a magic trick to get you the job. But when you put them all together, they create this layer of professional polish. It's about removing any little bit of friction, any obstacle that gets in the way of you and that job offer.
So I've got a challenge for you. Which one of these 5 areas are you going to focus on first? Don't try to learn them all at once. Just pick one. Master it this week. Because remember, you're not just fixing grammar. You're building your confidence and your presence as a leader. Now go put it into practice.